Okay, be honest with me. When was the last time you wrote an email, a real email, without opening ChatGPT first?
That's actually a good question. I had to write a complaint letter last week, and I caught myself mid-sentence thinking, wait, should I just ask Claude to phrase this better?
Exactly. And here's the thing that's been keeping me up at night. I used to remember phone numbers. Like, I knew at least 15 phone numbers by heart. Now, I barely know my own.
And that's not just you being forgetful, Emma. Scientists are starting to call this phenomenon cognitive atrophy. It's this idea that just like a muscle shrinks when you stop using it, your brain's ability to think critically is actually fading because you stopped struggling.
Wait, so we're literally building super intelligent machines while becoming empty-headed humans?
That's the fear. And today, we're going to find out if it's actually happening.
So, what exactly are we diving into today?
We're going to dissect something called the hollowed mind theory. This terrifying idea that AI gives us the illusion of competence while leaving us intellectually, well, empty. Like a chocolate Easter bunny. Looks impressive on the outside, but crack it open and there's nothing inside.
Oh, that's a dark image. I love it.
We'll explore how to avoid what I call the sovereignty trap, and why something called productive struggle is essential for keeping your brain healthy.
And for everyone listening who's learning English, this episode is a goldmine. We're going to encounter some seriously impressive academic vocabulary. Words like inherent, stratification, epistemological.
Don't worry, we'll break all of them down. By the end, you'll sound incredibly articulate when discussing the psychology of technology.
Let's get into it. All right, James, let's start with the basics. What exactly is cognitive atrophy, and why should I be worried about it?
Okay, so first, we need to distinguish between two things, cognitive offloading and cognitive atrophy. They sound similar, but they're fundamentally different.
What's the difference?
Cognitive offloading is when you use an external tool to handle a simple task. You use a calculator for math. You write a shopping list so you don't forget the milk. That's totally normal. Humans have been doing that for thousands of years.
Right, like writing things down instead of memorizing them.
Exactly. But cognitive atrophy, that's when you outsource the reasoning process itself. Not just the answer, but the thinking that leads to the answer.
Oh, so it's not about remembering facts, it's about losing the ability to think through problems.
Precisely. And this leads to what researchers are calling the hollowed mind. You have the answer because AI gave it to you, but you lack the mental structure to actually understand it.
That's kind of terrifying. Can you give me a concrete example?
Sure. Let's say you need to write an essay about climate change. If you sit down and struggle through it yourself, organizing your thoughts, finding the right words, building an argument, you're literally building neural pathways in your brain.
Like a workout for your mind.
Exactly. But if you just type, write me an essay about climate change into ChatGPT and copy-paste the result, you get the text, but your brain got nothing. No workout, no new connections. The essay exists, but the learning doesn't.
So the product looks the same, but what happened in your head is completely different.
Right. And here's the vocabulary moment. The word inherent is really important here. Inherent means something that exists as a permanent, essential part of something else.
So like, the struggle is an inherent part of learning?
Exactly. The struggle isn't a bug in the learning process. It's an inherent feature. Remove the struggle and you remove the learning. They're inseparable.
That makes a lot of sense. What's another key word we should know?
Facilitate. To facilitate means to make something easier. AI is designed to facilitate tasks, but the question is, are some tasks meant to be difficult?
So AI facilitates writing, but maybe writing shouldn't always be facilitated?
You're getting it. When AI facilitates too much, your cognitive capacity, your ability to do and understand things, starts to diminish. It becomes less.
So we're trading short-term convenience for long-term brain damage.
That's a dramatic way to put it, but yeah, kind of. And this is what I call the sovereignty trap.
The sovereignty trap.
It's when you choose efficiency over your own mental independence. Every time you let AI think for you, you're giving away a tiny piece of your cognitive sovereignty, your ability to think for yourself.
Whoa, and those tiny pieces add up.
They absolutely do.
Okay, but is there actual scientific evidence for this, or is it just a theory?
Oh, there's evidence, and one of the most fascinating studies comes from an unlikely place, London taxi drivers.
Taxi drivers? What do they have to do with AI?
So, in London, to become a licensed black cab driver, you have to pass something called the knowledge. It's this incredibly difficult test where you memorize over 25,000 streets and thousands of landmarks. It takes years to master.
That sounds brutal.
It is, but here's the amazing part. Researchers scanned the brains of these taxi drivers and found that they had significantly larger hippocampuses than average people.
The hippocampus, that's the memory part of the brain, right?
Exactly. It's crucial for spatial navigation and memory formation, and these drivers literally grew bigger hippocampuses through all that mental exercise.
Their brains physically changed from the struggle.
Yes, but here's the dark side. Studies on people who rely on GPS navigation, their hippocampuses are actually smaller.
Wait, what?
It makes sense when you think about it. When you use GPS, you're not actually navigating. You're just following instructions. Turn left, turn right. Your destination is on the left. You arrive, but you have no idea how you got there.
Oh man, that's literally me. I've driven to the same coffee shop 50 times and I still need Google Maps.
And that's the analogy to AI thinking. It's not just turn-by-turn navigation, it's turn-by-turn thinking. AI says, write this, include this point, conclude with this. You arrive at the conclusion, but you don't know how you got there.
So the vocabulary word here would be orient?
Perfect. To orient means to position yourself relative to your surroundings. When you navigate without GPS, you're constantly orienting yourself. You're building a mental map. But with GPS, you never orient. You just obey.
And with AI, you never think, you just accept?
Exactly. Another keyword, relied. Past tense of rely. When you've relied on something too much, you've depended on it with full trust. And that dependency can become dangerous.
Because you lose the ability to function without it.
Right. And here's a scary thought. If we're losing our spatial memory from GPS, what happens when we lose our logical memory from AI?
Our logical memory?
The ability to reason through problems step by step, to build arguments, to connect ideas. If that atrophies, we're not just bad at directions, we're bad at thinking.
That's genuinely terrifying.
It should be. But awareness is the first step. And there's one more word I want to highlight. Simulation. A simulation is an imitation of a real process. GPS gives you a simulation of navigation. AI gives you a simulation of thinking. But simulations aren't the real thing.
And our brains know the difference, even if we don't consciously notice it.
Your brain definitely knows.
Okay, so we've talked about the brain science, but is this actually showing up in the real world? Are people getting dumber?
There's a crisis happening right now in the software industry that perfectly illustrates this.
Oh, this sounds juicy. Tell me.
So there's this new term floating around tech circles, syntax secretaries.
Syntax secretaries. What does that even mean?
It's not a compliment, I'll tell you that. It refers to junior developers who use AI to write code that they don't actually understand.
Oh no.
They can produce working code. The syntax, the grammar of the programming language, is perfect. But if you ask them why the code works or how to fix it when it breaks, they have no idea.
So they're like typists, just taking dictation from AI?
Essentially, yes. They're operators of AI, not actual programmers. And this creates what's called the comprehension gap.
The comprehension gap.
It's when someone produces high-quality work with low-quality understanding. The output looks great, but there's no real knowledge behind it.
That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
It already is. Companies are discovering that their junior developers can't solve problems independently. They can't debug. They can't innovate. They can only ask AI and paste the result.
So what happens when AI gives the wrong answer?
Exactly the right question. they wouldn't even recognize that it's wrong because they never understood what right looked like in the first place.
Okay, vocabulary check. What words should we pull out of this?
Derive. To derive something means to obtain it from a specific source. Programmers should derive their solutions from first principles, from deep understanding. Instead, they're deriving everything from AI prompts.
So the source of their knowledge is AI, not their own brain.
Right, and to implement means to put a plan or decision into effect. These developers can implement AI's suggestions, but they can't create original implementations.
They're implementers, not thinkers.
Exactly. And finally, valid. Something is valid when it actually supports the intended point. These developers can't assess whether code is valid because they don't understand the logic it's supposed to follow.
So are we raising a whole generation of syntax secretaries?
That's the fear. A generation of operators who can run machines they can't fix, use tools they don't understand, and produce work they can't explain.
That's not just a tech problem. That's a society problem.
It absolutely is.
Okay, I need a second. This is a lot.
Take a breath, because what I'm about to tell you is even more disturbing.
Oh, great. Hit me.
So we've been talking about how AI affects human intelligence, but here's the twist. AI is also affecting AI intelligence, and the implications for us are horrifying.
Wait, AI is making AI dumber?
It's called model collapse. When AI models are trained on AI-generated content instead of human-created content, they start to degrade.
How does that work?
Think of it like making a photocopy of a photocopy. The first copy is almost perfect. The second copy is a little fuzzy. By the 10th copy, you can barely read it.
Oh, so each generation loses quality.
Exactly. And what specifically gets lost is variance, the weird, unique, unexpected stuff. AI trained on AI becomes more and more average.
Average?
Statistically average. It converges toward the mean. The most common patterns get reinforced, and the outliers, the creative, unusual, brilliant ideas, get filtered out.
So AI becomes increasingly basic?
There's actually a term for this, Gaussian convergence. Everything trends toward the center of the bell curve.
Okay, but what does this have to do with humans?
Here's the terrifying question. If AI models get dumber when they're trained on AI content, what happens to humans who are trained on AI content?
Oh my God.
Think about it. Kids growing up reading AI-generated stories, students learning from AI-generated essays, professionals consuming AI-generated reports. If our intellectual diet is increasingly AI-generated,
Our thinking converges toward average too.
I call it the beige culture. Everything becomes the same shade of inoffensive, statistically optimized beige.
Beige movies, beige music, beige conversations.
Beige thoughts. Because when you remove deviation from the norm, when you optimize everything for the average, you lose the tails of the distribution.
The tails.
The tails in statistics are the extremes, the outliers, the weirdos, the geniuses, the people who think differently and push humanity forward.
Evolution happens at the edges.
Exactly. Innovation doesn't come from the average. It comes from the deviation, the people who see things differently. And if AI homogenizes our thinking,
We lose the capacity for breakthroughs.
we lose the weird. And the weird is where all the magic happens.
Okay, vocabulary time, because these words are heavy.
Convergence, the process of different things coming together to meet at the same point. Our thoughts are converging toward the AI average.
Like rivers flowing into one boring ocean.
Nice metaphor. Deviation, departing from the standard or expected. We need deviation to stay creative. And norm, what's usual or typical. The norm isn't bad, but a world of only norms is terrifying.
A world without weirdos.
A world without originality.
Okay, this is getting dystopian, James. Is there any hope? Is everyone going to become beige?
Here's where it gets complicated. Not everyone is affected equally.
What do you mean?
There's a phenomenon in sociology called the Matthew effect. It comes from a Bible verse. For to everyone who has, more will be given. But from the one who has, even what he has will be taken away.
So the rich get richer.
Exactly. And this applies to cognitive skills too. People who already have strong thinking abilities, they use AI as a superpower. It enhances their existing skills.
Like a tool that multiplies what they already have.
Right. Researchers call these people centaurs, like the mythological creature that's half human, half horse. They combine human expertise with AI capabilities and become incredibly powerful.
Okay, that sounds cool. What about everyone else?
Everyone else becomes dependents, people who use AI as a crutch rather than a tool. They don't have strong foundational skills, so AI doesn't enhance anything. It replaces everything.
So the gap between experts and novices is growing.
It's exploding. We're seeing a cognitive stratification of society.
Stratification. That means layers, right?
Exactly. Stratification is the arrangement of things into distinct layers or levels. Think of rock formations. And society is stratifying into a cognitive elite and a cognitive underclass.
That sounds like a nightmare.
The cognitive elite will design the AI, understand the AI, and use AI to become even more capable. The cognitive underclass will be used by the AI. They'll be passive consumers who can't function without it.
Passive, meaning they don't take action, they just accept?
Yes, passive means accepting what happens without active response. Passive consumers don't question, don't create, don't resist. They just receive.
And which group are most of us in?
That depends entirely on what we do next, which brings us to the solution.
Oh, thank goodness. I was starting to despair.
Okay, so here's the good news. Cognitive atrophy isn't inevitable. There are specific strategies to fight back.
Tell me everything.
The key concept is called desirable difficulty.
Desirable difficulty? You want me to make things harder on purpose?
Yes, the research is clear. Learning that feels easy often doesn't stick. Learning that requires struggle creates deeper, more permanent memories.
So the struggle isn't just part of learning, it is the learning.
Exactly. The difficulty is desirable. We want it. When you struggle with a concept, when you have to really work for understanding, your brain encodes it more deeply.
Okay, but how do we apply this to AI? I can't just not use it, it's everywhere.
You don't have to avoid AI, you have to use it strategically. And the best approach is what I call the sandwich method.
The sandwich method.
Layer 1. You create a human draft first. Before touching AI, you struggle through your own version. It can be messy, it can be terrible, but it's yours.
Okay, so struggle first.
Layer 2, you use AI as a critic, not a creator. Show your draft to AI and ask for feedback. What's weak in my argument? What did I miss? How could this be clearer?
Oh, so AI helps you improve your own thinking, not replace it.
Exactly. Layer 3, you make the final edits yourself. You retain control. You decide which AI suggestions to accept and which to reject. The final product is still fundamentally yours.
Human, AI, human. A sandwich.
And the key word there, retain. To retain means to keep possession of something. You must retain your cognitive authority. AI can advise, but you retain the power.
I love that. What else can we do?
Metacognitive scaffolding. It sounds fancy, but it just means being aware of your own thinking process.
How do you do that?
Before you run to AI with a question, pause. Ask yourself, can I try this myself first, even for 5 minutes? Then attempt it, notice where you get stuck. Then consult AI and pay attention to what it did that you couldn't.
So you're actively learning from the difference.
Right. You're not just getting an answer, you're assessing your own gap. Assess means to evaluate. You assess your weaknesses so you can address them.
And the next vocabulary word?
And intervene. To intervene means to come between something to change its course. You must intervene in your own habits. When you feel the urge to immediately ask AI, intervene. Stop yourself. Try first.
So AI should be a sparring partner, not a servant.
Exactly. A sparring partner challenges you, makes you stronger. A servant does everything for you, and you become weak. You want AI to fight with you, not for you.
I love that. This completely changes how I think about using these tools.
That's the goal. Deliberate friction, intentional struggle. That's how you keep your mind sharp.
Okay, let's bring this home. What's the big takeaway from everything we discussed?
Here it is. Efficiency is not the ultimate goal of life. We've been tricked into thinking that faster is always better, that easier is always smarter, but that's wrong.
The struggle is where the growth happens.
Exactly. Every time you take the shortcut, you miss the scenery. And in this case, the scenery is your own cognitive development. Don't let the convenience of AI rob you of the joy of thinking.
The joy of thinking. I love that.
Because here's the thing, it is joyful. Figuring something out on your own, that aha moment when pieces click into place, that feeling is one of the best experiences a human can have, and we're outsourcing it to machines.
We're outsourcing joy.
We are, so fight for it, struggle for it, keep your mind sharp, keep your thinking weird, and don't become beige.
All right, we want to hear from you. Be honest with us in the comments. Have you stopped trying to remember simple things because you know your phone knows them?
Have you caught yourself reaching for AI before even trying to think through a problem? We'd love to hear your experiences. And if this episode made you think just a little bit, then we did our job.
Your brain will thank you for the workout.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you in the next one.